Good day, citizens of the Dayton region. Welcome to the Dayton Unit NAACP monthly TV show. We have two special guests with us today, and they are Marvin Mitchell. She is our chair of our Community Coordination Committee, and we're going to talk to her a little bit today about her roles and responsibilities as Community Coordination Chair of the Dayton Unit NAACP. And then we're also going to talk to Reverend Dr. David I. Fox, who serves as the chair of our Criminal Justice Committee. Both of them will have an opportunity to share, a lot of things that's going on this year, things that they have done in the past, and where they plan to take us in the future with the Dayton Unit NAACP. Let's welcome our two guests. How are you doing today?
Just fine.
Good.
Hello.
Good. I'm going to just provide a few little updates, about what the Dayton Unit NAACP has been doing so far this year.
Okay.
And then I'll give each one of you an opportunity just to kind of tell us who you are, where you come from, what school you went to. Just talk to us a little about your background and why you felt a need to get involved and engage in civil rights. Because you two now are members of the President's Cabinet of the forward administration. And I think you bring a wealth of knowledge to the table that can do nothing but enhance our overall goals, which are to inform, educate, and empower the community. So we're going to hear from both of you in just a few minutes. But I just want to give a little update about where we've been and what we've been doing over the past few months, or past couple months this year. Through the first 2 months of this year, the Dayton Unit NAACP, our membership is up 1.86%. So it's always good when your membership is up, 1.86%. And these numbers are through February 2016 year to date. So it's always a good thing when your membership is up. And I noticed that you, as a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, you also been bringing in memberships as well, which is a great thing because it's a national partnership, that the NAACP has signed with all of our Divine Nine in terms of memorandum of understanding for each Divine Nine participant to become members of the NAACP. So I think you're doing a great job with that.
Thank you.
And then also, I knew Reverend Fox. He told me, he said, Derek, even though we don't, charge people for our services down at the office, but at least someone can get a membership when they come down to be served. I thought that was a great idea. While we don't charge, our services are free. You can come down and get serviced and talk to any one of our investigators, and we're going to help you out the best that we can and hopefully resolve your particular issue. But it would be nice, to Reverend Fox's point, for those individuals to at least think to give back, to pay a $30 membership to join the organization.
Yes.
Because all it can do is strengthen us as we continue to try to help the community. So we're up basically 2% almost in membership. From a casework standpoint, and our caseload is actually down 21.6% this year, but that's because at the beginning of last year there was a lot of turbulent activities that was going on the first 2 months of last year, so people through our monthly educational community-based programs, which are these TV shows, we're able to educate our citizenry on issues that affect them. Thereby what we've noticed over the past few years is that when we educate people, about how to go inside the workforce and, talk to and document while they're inside the workforce, we've been able to reduce the number of complaints that actually come inside of our office. While we normally do about 200 complaints a year, we normally service about 200 people a year that actually come in and get complaint work done at our office. But we're about 29 through the first 2 months of this year, but it's actually about down 22% versus the previous year. Here's where the citizens can help. We actually won a Thalheimer Award last year for publications, and that's the highest award any local unit can receive from the NAACP in terms of your programs and publications. Part of publications is how are you communicating to the community? How are you communicating to the community? And one of those ways is through social media. Everybody, or a lot of people I should say, are tied into social media. So currently through the first 2 months of this year, actually we're up 29.7% in terms of our online activists. So last year, this same time, we had about 3,600 people following us on Facebook. Today, we have about 4,700. So we're up about almost 30% on online activists that's actually following us every day, looking at the work that we do, trying to keep up with what we're doing. And so they're staying engaged with us. And we call those people our online activists, because what we understand is that everybody is not going to come to a meeting, but they will follow us on Facebook, and they can stay engaged with us there as well. So our online activists is up almost 30%, and we really applaud our community, the citizenry, for following us and understanding that their civil and human rights, that we are here to protect them, their civil and human rights. And then from a monthly community meeting standpoint, our monthly community meeting attendance at our monthly community meetings through the first 2 years, or first 2 months of this year, it's actually up 223%. So just for the first 2 months of this year, we've educated 213 people just in the 2 months of this year, versus approximately 96 people at the same time last year. So more people are coming out, wanting to get information, wanting to be educated, wanting to be informed, thereby hopefully it will ultimately lead to them being empowered to make better decisions on their daily journey of life. So, our core goals is inform, educate, and empower. So we had an opportunity to educate for the first 2 months of this year, 213 people thus far. So thinking about this month, in the month of March, Chair Lady Mitchell, what's going on in the month of March that we can have people to come out, and maybe you can beat either Reverend Fox or my record in terms of the first 2 months of the year. Reverend Fox actually hosted a meeting in the month of January. I hosted the meeting in the month of February. Now it's on you in the month of March. So tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then lead into what it is that's going on this month.
Well, as you know, I'm a graduate of Central State University undergrad. I have a graduate degree at University of Dayton, so I am a local person here, and I also work with the state of Ohio. As it relates to what we're going to be doing in the month of March, for our first time annual, I'm actually excited. It'll be our annual partnership with Montgomery County and City of Ohio. And what we're going to do is have a job career fair. It's going to be scheduled for March 28th at the Dayton Boys Prep Academy. We'll have online people that will be there to take applications. We'll have on-site interviews, and then we'll also do applications there on-site, resume reviews, and we already have 25 employers that are committed.
25 employers that are actually committed to come out to do a career fair. So actually this is going to be our first career fair. So that's what I'm talking about. You coming aboard is adding value to our organization. This is something we've never done before, at least since I've been at the helm since 2007. So you're bringing an innovative approach by actually offering a job fair to people throughout the Dayton region. So there's 25 employers that you said. And so what time is the job fair on the 28th? From
6:30 to 8:30, and the fields that we're really concentrating on are health, logistics, manufacturing, and customer service.
Oh, so if I am someone who has a resume, and I come in already, as some people say, suited and booted, ready to be employed, so I can come in for an on-site interview?
Yes, you can come in for an on-site interview. And then also what's special about this is they're trying to actually do training programs as well while we're there, and you can sign up for that as well.
Okay, so job readiness training as well.
Yes.
All right. And basically you said, so the 4 key areas, once again, is health,
manufacturing, logistics, and customer service. And they're also going to have anywhere from entry level to mid-management positions available.
So, wow. So this would be a great opportunity for citizens who are currently either unemployed or underemployed to try to beef up, their resumes and to come out and try to be more gainfully employed, especially for the ones who are unemployed.
Yes.
So, okay.
And we will help them with resume reviews. We can help them as well.
Okay, fantastic. And now, I just heard you say that you are a graduate of my school, For God, for Central for State.
Yes.
Central State University. So what years did you go to Central State?
Wow. Once we go back that far, let's just say I'm with the Centennial Bunch. Can I say that?
All
yes.
right,
Is
all
that
right.
good? Yes.
All right, Central State University. All right, Marauder.
Marauder.
Okay, Reverend Fox, tell us a little about yourself and your journey through civil rights, because you know, I actually had an opportunity to look through an archive of yours that was very compelling. That when I looked through that archive, I said, this is why, and I hadn't even seen that before, but me just knowing you and knowing how you conduct yourself from a business standpoint, and you know, I'll let you tell everybody your prior work, but the work that you've been able to accomplish, you know, I've always been highly impressed, and I've always said that I want to be able to have Reverend Fox on our team to enhance, you know, our operations. So tell us a little about who Reverend Fox is.
Well, a lifetime person, born here and raised in Dayton. Graduated from Roosevelt High School, the greatest high school in the country. Went to Central State, graduated there and with a Bachelor's of Science in Education in Biological Sciences. Has worked in the area of getting more education, and so I went and got a master's in religious education, and then a doctorate in ministry with the focus on social justice and political activism. And my dissertation had to do with hip-hop music.
Oh, okay.
And political activism as it relates to that, dealing with the images and messages that came through the music. Work background, I was a Dayton police officer here in Dayton. I was a teacher here in Dayton. Spent all together in terms of police work 40 years and 42 years in education. Was a police chief with the state of Ohio, director of corrections at the Forensic Center in the state of Ohio, chief of police at Wilberforce University, and taught in every kind of area you could think of, from elementary to middle school to high school to college, universities, police academy, of course in terms of religion, because I'm a minister also, so I taught in all various capacities in that. So I've got an extensive background in education and police work, law enforcement. Retired from the state of Ohio as a police chief. Retired from the Wilberforce University just last year as a police chief. So I left that area, and so I came to deal with NAACP, spending, I was in civil rights for about 35 years. Much of my time was with SCLC, where I was in chief investigator for their civil rights complaints. And I thought I would bring some of my expertise and wealth of knowledge to the NAACP, and hopefully we can get some things done.
Awesome. You know, those are the kind of people that you want to be able to surround yourself with. Because I tell people all the time, I say, you know what, I would never ever proclaim or profess to know everything. But what I will emphatically say I know how to do, and that is to surround myself with people who have the answers. And I believe that as a good leader, as a good servant, you want to be able to surround yourself with people who know more than you. You know, because once you do that, then all that's going to do is better equip the team to be able to make significant changes in the direction that you're going. So, so even you are a graduate of for God for Central State University, and you know, when I think about that, see, you know, it's kind of bringing me back to on March 1st of this year. On March 1st of this year was my 23rd year, to the day, was my 23rd year working for my company, who I work for, Speedway LLC. And on that same day, I was inducted into the Central State University Alumni Achievement Hall of Fame. You know, to be able to know that in our institution's 129-year history, there's only been 143 alums who have been enshrined into the Hall of Fame. So So for me to be able, for that honor to be bestowed upon me, and then to hear individual backgrounds like yours, it's really a humbling feeling to know that the work that you're committed to for free, because our work, what we do at
It's free.
NAACP,
It's
is for
free.
free.
Yes,
And so that your work does not go
Yeah.
unnoticed by the community at large. So, and then to be recognized by your own peers,
Yes.
at the university that you
Yes,
were
that is
educated
excellent.
and grounded
Yes,
in,
yes.
was a tremendous
Yes.
honor. So,
Yes.
so just thinking back, on Cheerlady Mitchell, what
Yes.
made you become really involved with NAACP? I think you have a somewhat story to tell from the standpoint of someone who you grew up with and things like that, and so what actually got you truly engaged and want to be involved with civil and human rights?
I think it started back as a child. My father actually walked in the MLK March. He instilled in us to get out to vote campaigns. We did literature jobs for like C.J. McGlynn and others. We were very active in the community. Growing up, that's why I became a community servant. I was a public servant. I've stayed in PERS throughout my whole career.
Okay.
Worked for the Montgomery County. I've worked for City of Dayton. I went to the City of Columbus, and then with the state of Ohio. And in each area, like right now, I'm with Job and Family Services, and I just believe in doing community service.
Okay.
My background with my organizations with Delta Sigma Theta, and as well as the Dayton chapter of the Links. Same scenario, we're out there helping people, we're committed to serve, and they're just great organizations to be a part of.
Yeah, in fact, when I was at the national board meeting of the NAACP back in February of this year, we just, during that board meeting, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Links Corporation. So I thought that was good. Many of the Links local presidents were actually there on hand, and just a great time to know that all the various partnerships that we're getting engaged in at the NAACP, I don't see nothing but great things happening down the road for our American citizens, as it relates to protecting their civil and human rights. So, so that's great. And then Reverend Fox, talk to us a little bit about, since you've been aboard as the chair of our Criminal Justice Committee, talk to us a little bit about some of the casework that you've been engaged in so far this year. How many cases has been resolved, and how you see the expertise that you bring to the table, how you can help us in terms of your background, being a police chief, being a police officer. How can you help us and help the community? Because it's not just NAACP. We're here as an institution to help the people.
Right.
So they want to know that we have people on board, our team as volunteers, to be able to help serve them. And with the background that you just laid out for everybody, they should know that if there's something going wrong inside of the police department, that you're going to know because you've been there and you've done that. So talk to us a little about that.
I neglected to say I was with the state of Ohio also a regional EEO program administrator, which means I have the ins and outs and knowledge and understanding of dealing with employment issues.
Okay.
And people's civil rights being violated. And of course, with the experience that I got in civil rights investigating, I got an extensive knowledge in how to deal with complaints. And then plus I used to be on the board and also was a mediator with the city of Dayton with the mediation team.
Oh,
okay.
So with a lot of these problems that we have, we try to do with mediation. Matter of fact, when I was with the state, we were the ones that brought in the mediation program with the state of Ohio. And as a matter of fact, back a long, long time ago, I was one of the first to do an investigation on sexual harassment.
Okay.
So we bring all this wealth of knowledge along with an understanding of police work from the inside out, and from a top-down understanding, also from a bottom-up understanding, which is a big difference. To understand how the policies and procedures are created and how they are utilized to run a police department gives a good understanding on how you deal with issues of police brutality and police mismanagement, police misconduct, and all that. So what I try to do when we get a lot of cases come in, I mean, seem like every day we get a case dealing with individuals either locked up falsely or been accused falsely or whatever.
Okay.
So we can give them information. Even people that come in that have problems that are in the community, involvements of shootings and those kind of things, we try to talk with them because they are victims of crime.
Okay.
And so what we try to do, along with Chris Courtner and Kathy there at the office, we try to deal with a lot of those cases that come in. And we get quite a few cases. Right now, I'm working on about 12 open cases.
Okay.
And 9 of those are dealing with jail-related or prison-related issues. And some of them, 3 of them, are related to school issues. So we go to the schools, too, to deal with improprieties that go on inside of our school system to deal with our kids. And so those cases have been resolved. Those 3 cases dealing with the school have been resolved. 2 of the cases that are dealing with the criminal justice system as it relates to incarceration of individuals have been resolved. And we're working on a couple others. Now, we're not attorneys, and we're not lawyers, so we don't give advice in terms of lawyering. But because I'm an expert in police work, I can definitely deal with how and whether or not. One of the first things that I ask people to bring in is if police report the investigation that was done, so I can review that to see if there's been any unnecessary stuff that was been done or any violations of possible policies or procedures. And that's one of the things I can bring to the table that nobody else can do unless they've been involved in police work. And so by doing so, we're able to resolve and quickly issues of concerns by the individuals who are bringing those kind of cases into us. We're pretty excited about it. I mean, at least I am. I'm very excited to once again do this kind of work. I spend close to three hours, sometimes 4 hours down at the NAACP on a day-to-day basis, or if they need me, they call me, I come. And so it's all volunteer, like you said.
Right.
And I get joy out of it for helping other people that have been taken advantage of or been misused and abused within our criminal justice system.
Now, now looking back at the month of January, you kind of came in and set the bar.
Yes.
And you set the bar high from the standpoint of galvanizing people to our meetings. In fact, I think that there were like 91 people that came to the meeting in the month of January. What was that topic on?
Well, the topic was on using less lethal devices.
Okay.
In other words, can the police use any other objects or any other kinds of devices that would not cause a person to be killed? And that brought about a lot of people and a lot of conversation, because the question is whether or not policemen should shoot unarmed people.
Okay.
And are there other alternatives to that? You know, especially if somebody's running away.
Right.
So,
right.
So we wanted to talk about that issue, and we got a lot of people. They stood in line for a long time to ask. We had some great people there. We had Sheriff Plummer, and we had Chief Beal, and then we had from Trotwood,
Assistant Chief Wilson.
Yeah, Captain
Eric
Wilson. Yeah, and then Amar Salasi, he was there also from the Dayton mediation. So Human Relations Council. Yeah, right. And so we had a good group of individuals who were experts in the area to talk about, could we use less lethal devices? And it was exciting, even though we didn't have enough time.
Right.
And we're going to do other things as the year goes on to deal with other issues dealing with the criminal justice system. I'm working on some programs now that we can put together, workshops, seminars, those kind of things. Because we, like you said, our job is to inform and educate, and that's what we want to do, is to educate people. And matter of fact, one of the main issues that you brought out and that you talked about was, you know, what should our young people do, or not only our young people, what should anybody do that are stopped by the police? Right. You know, what are your rights? No, you can't just jump up and say, I don't want to talk to you, or you can't jump up and say, well, I refuse to answer these questions. But you can ask the simple question, you know, You know, if the officer has got you, you know, you ask the question, am I under arrest? And if the police officer says no, then you ask the question, am I free to go?
Right.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to be arguing with them and bickering with them, because all that does is escalate the problem. And next thing you know, you locked up in the back of a cruiser and going to jail. So just ask those two simple questions, and that'll take care of most of your problems for you.
And just for the public to know, state those two questions one more time.
Am I under arrest? Am I free to go?
Am I under arrest? And am I free to go? Two very important questions.
Yes, they are.
That a person who is being approached by the police need to ask them.
Yes.
You know, and really to cut down on the number of people who are engaged or you know, leading into the criminal justice system. So we basically followed that up in the month of February. I had an opportunity to host the month of February's meeting because you set their bar so high.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
you
you
know.
did.
So we came back in the month of February. You know, basically talked about the consequences of life's choices.
Yes.
And we had 132
was.
people that actually attended that particular meeting because we want individuals, and not only that, but what this has led to is a partnership with the Dayton Public Schools, whereas the five panelists who we had sitting in on you know, on that particular meeting of consequences of life's choices, those 5 individuals are now going to be spearheading an initiative inside of the Dayton Public Schools. We're going to start at Thurgood Marshall STEM High School.
Right.
So they're going to go and talk to the males, you know, the young males about, you know, if they get engaged and involved in, you know, in the wrong things instead of being in tune to education,
Right.
and, you know, this is where this path could lead you. And please don't go down this path, because this particular path may not be the right path for you. So, I believe that these 5 individuals are going to get inside the schools, tell some compelling stories about their life, and hopefully that will channel that energy
Right.
that some of our youth have
Right.
in the wrong direction into a more positive and productive you know, direction. So, so we're looking to launch that at Thurgood Marshall actually this month, in the month of March, and then we are then going to from there we're going to go to Longfellow. And it's going to be ongoing, continual training with these 5 individuals. So it was a great partnership. You know, David Lawrence, Chief David Lawrence with the Dayton Public Schools. You know, he came to our meeting and said, Derek, I was just blown away that all these people were there and really engaged. And this is something that he had already had on top of mind from the
Right.
program that they're already engaged in. So, it's opening up doors for some individuals who have been wanting to get inside the Dayton Public Schools to tell their stories, to hopefully help lessen the murder rate, the gun violence rate inside of our
Yes.
community.
Yes.
So we start there inside the schools. Then from there, we're going to work on getting into the churches.
Yes.
So, and then one thing we're really proud about Thurgood Marshall is that we just implemented, and the national office just chartered
Oh,
yes.
the
yeah,
very
yeah.
first high school chapter
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
of the NAACP in the state of Ohio,
Right.
Yes.
at Thurgood
That's
Marshall.
all right.
Right.
So the name of that organization is called the Move Forward
Okay.
Thurgood Marshall
right.
NAACP High School chapter. So
Yeah.
getting inside of the school,
It's important.
you know, what better school inside of the Dayton community put, you know, to actually start that school than
Yes,
Thurgood
Thurgood.
Marshall, you know, who was a long time, you know, judge, well, not judge, but lawyer for the NAACP, and became the first African American U.S. justice inside these United States of America. So we are very happy about that, and we're going to look to actually get inside the other schools,
Yes.
you know, inside of the Dayton community, and start other high school chapters. So, so as we wind down our show here, you know, any last comments from Chairlady Mitchell or Chairman Fox?
I would just like to ask everyone to make sure, if you can, to be a participant with our next phase, in which they've set the standard so high for me, for my March meeting with our NAACP Career and Job Fair
Okay.
in partnership with City of Dayton and Montgomery County, Ohio.
All right.
And then also, we also have people, I'm a graduate of Jefferson Township, I have to say that,
All right,
alumni.
Broncos.
And they're going to be helping assist and host some of the students at the actual job fair as well.
Okay, fantastic.
Well, I love Jefferson.
Yes, thank you.
That was my first teaching job.
Oh, okay.
I would just want to say what I like about NAACP is that it is an organization that deals with social justice and relationship to all people.
It's inclusive.
That's
You're
right.
It's so inclusive.
And it's contrary to what people may think,
Yes.
feel, or believe. It's for all people. And the word colored, that's what it means. All
All
people.
colors.
Because
All
all
people
people
of all
have
colors,
color.
yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
You know,
That's
I
what I
was
wanted to
asked that, and you know, they asked me at the Career Fair. They said, well, it was on the west side of town. And I told them, but, you know, that's okay, but it's open, it's inclusive to all
That's
who
right.
needs employment. This is about economic development and empowering the community.
That's right.
So, yes, that was the same thing.
And-
Yes,
and,
it's so
uh,
crucial.
In some of my cases, I have worked this year, and I just started in January. And several of those cases have been for whites, and I've had 2 Asians. So, yeah.
Well, I'm certainly glad you brought that out because the organization, since its founding, was founded by actually more Caucasians than African Americans.
That's right.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that. They just assume that we're a black organization.
Yes, yes.
You know, and I don't know how we can really get that message out to the community to say, hey, look, everybody has civil rights, and we're here to protect the civil rights of
That's right.
all
All people.
Americans.
It's all Americans.
And we're going to close on that note. Except for I want to say that my father, the late Elder Alfonso Ford Sr., was also a graduate of Roosevelt High School. I believe he
He's a
was a
good
class
man.
of 1957.
Well, that's 10 years before me.
And my father was,
And my mother, by the way. Just
all right.
Okay.
You know, and thinking about Jefferson Township, my father was
Yes.
also a Jefferson Township police officer.
What's
So,
okay.
so my father has a connection, and I grew up in Jefferson Township,
Yes, you
just like
did.
you. You know, so as we look at that, there's a connection with my father on both sides. Roosevelt with you, Jefferson Township with you.
And then
Yeah,
the,
but
then the
your uncle-
nucleus is Central
That's
State.
Central State
But your
University.
uncle used to work for me.
Which one?
Lavelle.
Oh, Uncle Lavelle. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so with that, we are going to sign off, and we're going to say, join your local NAACP.
Yeah.
We want you, we need you to help advance the civil and human rights of all Americans. May God bless you, may God bless the NAACP, and may God bless these United States of America. Thank you.
Now you feel better.